So you went to your loan officer, you got pre-approved for your purchase. That's awesome. Second of all, you've been shopping with your realtor, found your dream home, offer was accepted. Even more awesome. Now what's next? Home insurance. And I've got you covered in this video because I'm going to break it down from a beginner's perspective so you know exactly what you're buying. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, if this is your first home purchase, congratulations. If you're watching this and you're already a home buyer and you've had a home for a while and you really just wanted to dive in to see exactly what type of details and what coverages are on a basic home policy, welcome as well. And for those of you that don't know, my name is Ryan Turbo Jackson and I am your insurance resource. And let's jump into this. So what we have here is a basic home policy, and yes, this is a sample. This is not what yours is going to look like. And no, I don't own my own insurance company, and John Klein is not a actual person. But this is just an example, so I can walk through everything, walk through the sections here, just so you kind of get a basic grasp of what we're talking about. The first section here is the dwelling coverage. Now, this is, if you don't take anything else away from this video, take this away. Replacement cost does not equal market value. And what I mean by that is, yes, in this example, John Client purchased has a replacement cost of $338,500. But what the question I get most often is, well, Ryan, I only spent $225,000 on this house. Well, that's the market value. The replacement cost is if, God forbid, there was a total loss, how much would it cost to actually rebuild the home? So that is the biggest misconception when it comes to home insurance. So if you don't take anything else away from this video, this is what it is. The next coverage is other structures. Now, this is what other structures looks like. Here's an example, just a few examples. A detached garage, a pole barn, a gazebo, fences, but there's a whole lot of other things that go into this. Pretty much anything that is not attached to the house is going to be considered other structures. Hence, why it's not covered under there. The next coverage is personal property. This is what personal property, just a few examples. We've got electronics, we've got the stuff in your living room, the stuff in your kitchen, stuff in your bedroom. Pretty much if you were to, the example I always give is if you pick up your house, rip the roof off, and dump it out, everything that dumps out would be considered personal property. So just think anything that you use on a day-to-day basis, that's going to be personal property. The last one here is kind of that's one that most people don't really realize what exactly it is. Loss of use, what does that mean? Some companies refer to it as additional living expense. And what this coverage is if you were to be out of your house, or if there was God forbid, a total loss to the home, this would cover any rents. So if you're renting a new house or an Airbnb at this point, or even a hotel room or something like that, this would cover any additional expense that you would incur when it comes to, or even if there was let's say there's a large tree limb that falls on your house, and you are not able to live in the house while the renovation is taking place, this would cover you as well during that. So pretty much, if you can't live in your house, that's what loss of use is going to cover. Now, if we scroll down here a little bit more, personal liability. Whenever you think liability, think lawsuit. So if someone were to come onto your property, get hurt, and sue you, this is where this is where the coverage is going to come from in the personal liability section. So whenever you think liability, think lawsuit, liability. And in this case, John Client does live. This is a lakefront property. So whenever I do quoting, when you're on a lakeshore, on have lakefront or even a pool, I always put at least $500,000 worth of liability, if not $1 million. Now you might be saying to yourself, Ryan, that sounds like a whole lot of money. Think about how much lawsuits cost. I mean, lawsuits can be quite expensive, and we want to make sure that you are taken care of when it comes to a lawsuit. And then medical payments here is just a that's a coverage as to where if someone you invite on your property, let's say you're having a party and your niece happens to break her leg or something like that, this would help her parents pay for their or cover their health insurance deductible. So I usually quote it at 5,000. There are some companies that go above and beyond 5,000, but usually the general amount's 1,000. For a couple bucks more a year, you can get 500,000 or 5,000. Excuse me. So when it comes to basic home insurance, that's it. That's it. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, Ryan, I've heard other people talk about different coverages that can be added to the home policy. Or if you do have a current home policy, you might be scrolling through it going, well, Ryan, there's some other coverages on here. And 99% of the time, those are additional coverages. I'm not saying they're bad coverages. I'm just saying they're additional coverages. When you are looking to purchase your first home or purchase a home, you want to make sure, just to kind of give you a rundown of a couple of them that I would make sure that we're on there. I would make sure that there's guaranteed home replacement cost. That's pretty much exactly what it sounds. If there is, even though we have this policy written for $338,500, if it does happen to go a little bit over that, the guaranteed replacement cost would kick in and make sure that it is taken care of at a guaranteed replacement cost. Another one I would make sure that is on here is personal property replacement cost, meaning it's going to cover your personal property like we talked about in one of the previous slides, what exactly is personal property. But it's going to cover that on a replacement cost basis and not a depreciated value basis. So that's a huge thing, and it doesn't cost a lot to make sure that coverage is on your home policy, and I highly recommend it. And last but not least, one of the most, aside from weather, because usually weather is the most popular or happens the most when it comes to claims time with a home policy. The very close second is that there would be losses covered under water and sewer backup. Now you might be saying to yourself, Ryan, well, I live on my property has a septic tank. Would I need that? Sure. Anytime anything backs up into the house, and I tell you what, if I always carry, I have it on my personal home, but I always include it because if something were to back up nasty like that through a bathtub, through a toilet, a sink, even when you are on a septic, this can happen. And I would much rather have my insurance cover paying ServPro or a service like that to make sure that's taken care of instead of me with a shop vac and just getting all icky and nasty. So definitely worth a thought, and to make sure that you're properly covered. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. And don't get me wrong, there are other coverages which I'll go deep dive into in other videos. But for right now, I just wanted to make this video for new home buyers and people that just really weren't sure if they weren't sure of what they were buying or what they currently had. So all of my contact information is going to be in the description of this video. So if you'd like a quote, have any questions, or just want to chat, just get a hold of me through those. And happy buying and congratulations on your home purchase. And I will see you on the next one.